Okay, I just want to show you what the new one. You see how the difference? Alrighty, good morning everybody. Today's video, I am going to repair the lawnmower. So I'm not going to try to make this as long as I can, but I'm going to try to show everything that needs to be done to repair this lawnmower. And then I'm going to try to sneak in a video of cooking, because there is something, a new sauce I want to try just to show you guys. So that'll be a quick video. All right, let's get this car out. Let's move it on out, guys. Best way to do this stuff, get up early, especially if you live in Florida, before the heat comes on. Now, I already made a video of me replacing the blades. These are spare blades that got to go in the shed. But this time I'm replacing the whole spindle thing. Now I'm going to be replacing that thing from this model lawnmower. So it's the Toro 42-inch TimeCutter. And this is what I got to replace. I've already sprayed PB Blaster in it overnight. So, I mean, it's been there for a few days. So I got to lower the deck down to all the way to the lowest it'll go. That way you have plenty of room to work with. You don't have to take the deck off. Just lower the deck and raise the lawnmower. I recommend you use jack stands. With it open, that's park. You can lock the wheels in the back. What I would normally do is when I have something like this, whether it's on a car or whatever, I'd shake it. You see how wobbly? This thing falls on you, it's possibly can kill you. So use jack stands, guys. All right. This is the part. That's the part number. That's the part I'm replacing. This is where the blade goes on. This is where the spindle goes on. This here was $66. I think it was 66. And it came with 3. Even though I have 2 on there, I only need to replace 1. It came with 3, all the hardware. And it came with some tools. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use these tools, depending on how hard the bolts are stuck, but those are all the pieces, the nut for the blade. That's everything there. That's not bad. They wanted 2 for like 60 bucks, and then I seen these. This looks pretty well constructed, like it's made. Someone just made this. But that bearing, or the bearing in there, is what is bad. All right, basically I was driving the lawnmower one day. I heard a weird noise, kind of like a metal noise. Felt a little vibration. I figured, let me change the blades and let me look underneath there. There's the spindle, there's the 4 bolts. And how I can tell it was this one is that you can see how this one is rocking back and forth? You hear it? You hear that knock? And I knew it came from this side. And you can tell the difference because that side isn't gonna move up and down. See how it's steady? Come on, flashlight. See how it's steady, no noise. So instead of waiting for it to get bad, when I replaced the blade, I was like, and you can just see, that's that whole spindle, the bearing. These are not greasable bearings, so they are sealed bearings. They stay greased. This would probably be the only part that's going to be a pain in the butt if this doesn't come out. I can't get my air tool in there because of the alignment of the way it lines up. So I'm going to have to use my breaker bar. Another thing, do not take these bolts off first. This has got to come off first. Anyone can do this job. It's real simple. You're not tearing down everything, because once this slides up, the belt will stay in place. So you might get a little bit of tension where this will want to go in there. You'll have to pull it, but just make sure, you know, it's that simple. Anybody can do this. So Spray this with PB Blaster. Let me try to get this off. I got to put something underneath the bottom to hold the blade from spinning. Do not take the blade off again until this is off. So let's get the... I doubt I'm going to be able to get it off with the tool that they gave me, but I just wanted to show you. See how this spins? Yeah, we got to prevent that. So I'm going to put this piece of wood block in there so I don't mess up the blade, and I'm going to try to jam it with this. All right, there we go. I got it jammed up in there. It might fall out, who knows, but you got to position something there to jam the blade from spinning. Before you put the block there, make sure you've already turned this knowing what direction that this is going. So that's where it needs to be on this one. Okay, I had to reposition the wood to grab that lip right there so it wouldn't do it standing up, and I have it like that. And then I have my breaker bar. And then if I didn't have that PD, and the wood falls, so I got to use two hands. So basically, got to make sure the wood, and then just keep turning it that way and get it off. Okay, if you have an air ratchet, you could do it with air ratchet. Wasn't that much force on it. This, you do not put, I know a lot of people, they want to put thread. It's like a, I'll show you the tube, but it protects it from rusting. Sometimes you don't want to do these on moving parts like this, because what'll happen is it'll rust, it'll unscrew itself out. So there's certain things that you can put that on there. Anti-seize. And there's certain things you shouldn't put anti-seize on. And this is one of them. You shouldn't be putting anti-seize on it. I say do this step while it's outside, but I just, right now, I'm getting everything, all the grass out of it. What's good about lawn mowing is that how you take it off is how you put it back on. It's real simple steps. Anyone can do it. I doubt you'll be using this tool because you definitely do need a breaker bar for that one. And you probably need a ratchet. Yeah, see? Because this is, I gotta try to, let me see if I can get this lifted up first. If not, I'll get a ratchet or an open end and do that way. But if I can't get that up, sometimes you can slide these up, sometimes you can. All right, I just wiggled it on each side, and look. Now there's gonna be a little tension, so just gently slide this down out the way without messing up the thing there. If you have to take a picture of the route of the thing, then take a picture of the route of the belt. But that's all you're doing. So you're releasing tension. Now I have free range to thing. I could have a two choice. I could take the blade off on the bottom, or I could take the blade off as I'm doing it here. So I'll probably wait to the bottom. But this bearing here, or the bottom bearing, this is gonna slide out. The blade is gonna slide through. See? That's the blade. And then all I have to do is take this new blade off and just put it on the thing, on the other shaft. So this I'm gonna need a ratchet because I'm not gonna be able to get underneath there, and that's very tight. So, but I mean, at least they gave you some tools. Now 3 out of the 4 snapped off, so that shows me they did not use anti-seize. And that's because is when this metal gets with this aluminum, it gets rusted in there good. What's good about it is that even though I broke it off here, I don't need that piece because this is a whole new unit. You're basically just screwing from there to here, and that holds it up in there. So whether they all 4 break or not, it's not a problem. Now, if you were trying to rebuild this, then that's going to be a problem. Again, this is not greasable. There's no fittings. This is self-sealed, but you can see all the bearings that are missing. So, yep. Might as well change it now before it's a headache. You can even see the shaft in there is crooked. So, and working on these things is like working on a car. You hear something wrong, man, don't wait till the last moment to try to repair it. friggin' do it now. Now I got two choices. This shaft has a rubber safety thing so the shaft doesn't slide through. But I probably am going to use anti-seize on these here. I just wish that fourth one would have broke. But again, it's real easy. It's not hard. I'm going to make sure I clean underneath there real good where that was. I want to scrape that off real quick. I probably got tools in here since I was like 14, 15 years old, since I started working on vehicles. I always save stuff. The scraper might be in another area. I think it's where my paint supply stuff. I got tools for days. All right, I think the scraper is going to be where I have my tool supplies for painting. And basically, I just want to, I know it's going to lay flat, but I just want to make sure. I'm basically just scraping that. Now, if you want to scrape the whole bottom of your thing, this is a good opportunity to get any of that excess grass off the top. So I'll do that. Okay, I just want to show you what the new one. You see how the difference? It's a sealed, non-service bearing. I'm gonna put this bolt back up. I don't have anti-seize. It is what it is. It's just is what it is, but I'm just gonna put it in like that. There is no right way or wrong way to put it on. You line up the holes. The only thing I don't like is that bolt sticks down like that, even though it's not going to interfere with the blade or anything, but I just don't like that. Everything you do, you screw, is with your hands. Don't ever screw with a ratchet or nothing. If you can't screw it with these two fingers, see how easy it is? Then there's something wrong. So just imagine if you use a ratchet or air tool, you'll get cross thread because again, you're going from steel and it's aluminum. And these things, see the 3 marks on them? Those usually mean what pressure. I don't know what pressure rating, but those are pressure ratings. So that's another thing. It's not like you're torquing it. You're really hand tightening it because these will snap. But let me tighten that up with my ratchet now. And then I'm going to put that on there. But let me tighten. Oh, could be a different whatchamacallit. So, but I will, even though I'm going to use this, but I am going to hand tighten. I am going to use the ratchet. Okay, these are hand tight. I had tightened them up hand tight. Then what I do is I go just like when I'm putting on a car tire, I go across. I go like in a star. So I will make sure, I made sure this was tight. And I made sure this was tight, and this was a little bit loose because again, you're tightening it. So I made sure that got tight, and then I did it again to make sure they're all at hand tight. You can't move it. Again, always recheck. Can these get loosened up? Yeah. This is a rattling thing. Do not put PB Blaster in here. Do not do nothing. If you don't have the anti-seize only on this, you could probably put it on this too, but I don't know. They didn't have it on there, so. Sometimes anti-seize will, because it won't rust on there or hold on there, it'll make it slippery, it'll unrattle. Should I be checking these after a couple running of the lawnmower? Yeah. Would I check them? No. Why? Because the freaking cover's on, then I have to take the cover off and see if each one, but most likely I'll probably shake the blade. I'll look underneath there since the bolts are a little bit longer. But yeah, after your first couple of runs, just make sure these bolts are all re-tightened again. You probably don't have to, but it's always good to be safe than sorry. And I noticed that when I pulled out the other thing there, that was what was covering that, so. Okay, now let me try to get that back on there. Now, if I wanted to put some anti-seize on that shaft right there, I can, so that that doesn't stick to that. But again, I don't have anti-seize. This is a two-hand job. I got my hand underneath here to hold this up, and then I'm going to try to put that on there. Again, it's going to have some tension on it, but I'm going to put that back on there, put the nut back on it. And that was it there. Now, if you need someone to hold that bottom one, that's fine, but I mean, it's not hard, but there's a little bit of tension there. All right, so that's on, but it's not tight, because now I want to go and put my blade on the bottom. So now I'm going to take this bolt off and put this blade onto here, and that already comes with its own bolt. One more thing I want to show you, make sure this has that lip on there, guys, because that's what holds that circle for the blade, is on that lip. Now my other part did have it. You see there? I mean, just because you order something, like I said, I've had hard times ordering blades on eBay because sometimes they'll send me the one with the stars on it. Very important to have this washer. Now, will I save the old bolt? Yeah, I'm gonna save the old bolts. Will I save that shaft? Yeah, I'm gonna save this shaft. That's the only two pieces I'm saving. That's garbage. All right, let me get the blade on. Remember, this side here goes down and the blade's going that way, and I will be using my air gun to tighten this up. Make sure you screw that by hand, that it's flush, it's in the sliding thing, and then I'll come with the air gun and torque it. The bolts are not gonna interfere. Everything looks good. Look, I'm going up and down. No rattling, no knocking, just like the other side. If I wanted to replace two, I could have replaced two. That's your choice. But I'm not gonna. Just gonna replace this one, because that's really all that is needed. Okay, bottom is secure. Now it's time to do this. I gotta put my wood back underneath there. Now on the opposite end of it, because now the blade is gonna spin the other way. All right, now I'm securing it like that. Everything's good here, good, everything. You wanna do a final tightening before you put the shield on the top or whatever, but this is just, everything is there. Now it's just a matter of this. Now, if you ride without the cover, that's fine, that's up to you. But you gotta remember, and I mean, I was hosing this and everything. Who knows, you know, that could have done it too over the time. This is a 2019, I think it's a 2019 lawnmower, if I'm not mistaken. So 2019, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, that bearing. But this cover is the most important thing to protect any, I mean, you're not gonna protect 100% of the dust that gets in there, because you can see on the other side, I mean, it's hard to keep clean, but this is a sealed, non-serviceable bearing. So it's not like, again, it's sealed up so nothing gets in it, and it's non-serviceable. So when they go, they just happen to go. If you happen to be able to replace the bearings without the whole unit, well, you'd have to have a press, but it's just cheaper to get it the other way. All right, let me put these on here. Now this breaker bar goes back in my car, because this is what I use to take the nuts off in the car when I change the lug nuts. There you have it, a before and after, what it looks like. So that's the part number for that one. I'm gonna keep this in the garage and not in the shed, so it doesn't rust these up with moisture out there. All right, I got a pair of extra work gloves. Sweep the garage down. Everything's looking good. Now again, there's a few excuses why you won't have this cover on your thing. Those little bolts snap quickly, especially, this is 6 years old, so just imagine 10, 20, 15 years, a belt or something had to be replaced to get in there, and you haven't been in there since. They snap. And those are a pain in the ass to drill out, and that's why people will leave those covers on. Again, that cover will only, it gives a protection, but it's not 100% protection. And now that I cut my grass on 3.5 with new blades and everything, grass is looking good. But again, that protection only gives so much, because if you hose this down underneath there, you're getting water in there, but there's something so the water runs out. It doesn't rest on here, because even though this rest is flat, the water will run out here. So again, if you can keep that cover on, keep it on. That, you know, that's the best. If you can't, then you just can't. Now comes the true test, is to see how it sounds. All right, here it goes. Now I gotta sweep this out. But hey, it was worth it. No more grinding or nothing, man. Beautiful, beautiful. Those who ever had automotive, wood shop, you always know there was a cleanup time period. That always took when you were getting into your work, and then all of a sudden, it's like cleanup. And you get all mad because it's like, man, gotta clean up 15 minutes early, but my car's staying here, and I am making sure my babies have a nice clean home. All right, let's take the lawnmower back. Let me show you this new sauce we're gonna be cooking. Again, this was very easy. Take off, take on. One person can do it. I hope this helps somebody. Got any questions? Definitely ask me at the end of the video. But she sounds good. I'm not gonna cut today, but at least I know when I start cutting, I'm definitely gonna have new blades at 3.5, new spindle bearing and everything. I personally leave my seat up. That kills any energy. Any energy. Battery lasts longer with your seat up than it does with it down.